What's up, what's up, what's up, peeps? It's your girl, Nick. And Miss Taylor is on the ones and twos. I've been dying to say that for like weeks. And then we also have a special guest with us tonight, Miss Doni Green. How are you?
I am doing well.
I am so glad you're here with us.
It is great to be here.
Thank you for coming. So, you guys know that I love doing topics that are near and dear to my heart. And since, I am now a caregiver of my mommy, and it's just me and the queen against the world. Um, I thought it'd be very meaningful this month to have a discussion on caring for our aging parents and loved ones. So, what you're going to get this month from us is a lot of tips and tools, a lot of information, and just stuff you probably didn't even think about because as I've been on this journey with my mom over the past 3 years, I have learned so much. Like all the stuff that I thought I knew that I really didn't know. And so Miss Doni and her team are going to just bless us this month with all kinds of information. So welcome, welcome, welcome. And can you introduce yourself to our Convo family?
I would love to. So, I work with the North Central Texas Council of Governments, and I'm the Director of Aging Programs. And my responsibilities include administering a lot of federally and state funded grant programs for older adults and family caregivers. And aging has been my life. I entered the field of aging when I was in my 20s.
Did you really?
And I was a geriatric case manager, and I thought it was really unfair that a geriatric case manager had acne.
But you started in your 20s.
Yeah, just discovered my passion and worked with older adults in healthcare settings for about 8 years.
Okay.
And then decided that I wanted to develop new programs, kind of offer more programs to be of support. And so I've been in my current position for 28 years.
Oh, that is so cool.
Yeah.
You've been 28 years with this position.
So I am aging. In fact, I'm now eligible for the very programs I administer. Woohoo!
Oh my goodness. So, what is, if you had to tell people like one takeaway that you've learned over your tenure, what is like one of the number one things that you would tell people to just kind of beware of as we're going through this path?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think, one of the reasons that I love this field so much is, there are a lot of stigmas regarding aging. Don't buy a birthday card and expect to find a positive message regarding aging.
That's true.
There aren't too many of us who embrace the aging process. I attend a lot of community health fairs, and a lot of times people will they'll form a big arc around my table as if it's something contagious. But I really believe
come closer.
that life and aging are gifts.
They really are.
I've lost a lot of family members as young people, and it's really made me appreciate that that life is beautiful at any and all stages, and certainly with aging, there can be a lot of challenges, a lot of barriers, but what our programs are about are supporting people at time of need and, just helping older adults, family caregivers to live the best lives as possible. And sometimes they just need a little help or information. And that's the role of our agency, to connect people with resources, to kind of talk through the options and help them make the choice that's best for them. So that really feeds my soul.
See, it's funny you say that because when I started this journey, it was 2019, and I was my dad had just been diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer. my mom, we were noticing just different things with her memory. She wasn't as sharp and as intentional as she used to be, and she's like me, Spitfire, like rapid, 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 and all of a sudden things just started slowing down. My bonus daddy, he was experiencing some mental kind of slowness as well. And so I learned fairly quickly that, oh girl, you are only child. You better you better start paying attention and putting some things in order. So because of my legal background, I automatically went to, where's the power of attorney?
Good for you.
Where's
Good for
the
you.
medical directive?
Yep.
Where's the living will? Where's the will?
Yes.
And then I started asking them all individually, like, what kind of stuff do you want? Like, who are you leaving things to? Do you want to be sustained in the hospital? Do you want people to just let you go? Like, we've had those conversations extensively starting in 2019. And then I was pregnant. And so, of course, in my mind, I'm like, wait a minute. Got to start thinking about this stuff for me. And so 2019 was like the turning point for me. Like, I really started paying attention to what am I supposed to do to navigate? And then in 2020, when Dad, lost his fight, he put up a great fight. And then I was kind of like, whew, I'm glad I had those conversations. But then Bonus Dad unexpectedly passed in February of 21. And so then I was like, oh my God, I really am a caregiver. Because I went from taking care of one to taking care of the other, and then now I'm with Mom. And so that's part of the reason one of the reasons I started the podcast was to make people more aware of topics like this, because we don't always talk about these things. And then I was painfully aware that I didn't have all the answers and I didn't have all the resources. So all of the stuff that I started bumping my head on, I was like, So when we started the podcast, I was like, I don't know what month we're going to do it, but we will have a whole month devoted to these topics, because it all happens so fast and quickly, and then you're playing catch up. And I'm one of those people that don't like being behind the 8 ball. So I'm really glad that you're here. And we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come and talk about some tips and tools.
All righty.
All right, Miss Tay.
Changing the mind.
Hey guys, and we're back. Okay, so general information tips and tools. So, what are the steps to ensure proper care for our loved ones?
Yeah, that's a great question, and I think the place to start, regardless of where you are, whether you have regular contact with your family or whether you're a long distance caregiver, as I am, I'm kind of the point person for my 87-year-old mother, and I think the key is just as best you can stay in touch and really notice what's going on. If you're having conversations by phone, just listen for any concerns, kind of listen for any changes, and certainly if you do have the opportunity to kind of see your family regularly, you want to take note of what's going on. Are there any changes in terms of your parents' hygiene? With me, it was kind of the house developing an odor. That was a sign that, something was going on with hygiene that we needed to address.
Wow.
You've cared for your mom who's had memory loss, and a lot of times that will show up through phone conversations or face-to-face conversations. Is somebody struggling with recall? Is it getting more difficult to come up with names of people or things? Is the language becoming simpler? Are the thoughts becoming less organized? And so again, I think it just starts with having a close of a relationship as is possible, and just again kind of taking note of any changes or concerns, kind of listening to see if there are some fears or anxieties that need to be discussed, and also kind of monitoring for changes in mood. Depression is a very, very common condition, not only among older adults. Over our lifetimes, close to 1 in 4 of us struggles with depression. But with aging comes greater likelihood of loss, loss of loved ones, sometimes loss of physical health, and that can play out in depression. And also, noticing, is there food in the refrigerator? Are there new dents in the car? Gee, Mom, what happened here? And she says, oh, I don't know. That's not a good sign.
Like, can't remember where she drove to or not. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, and then I think the other thing that's really helpful in terms of just understanding what's going on is to rely on others who are involved. And, maybe that's other family members, maybe that's people at church, maybe that's neighbors. And, if you don't know who your family members' neighbors are, it's a great idea to, introduce yourself, to share contact information, to
Just
say, if you have any concerns, give me a call. So I think that's really important, just having a close relationship and really understanding, what's normal for your parents, and taking note of any changes from what's normal or baseline.
That's it's funny you say that, because when I really started, like, I was about to move in with my mom, and when we started noticing, like, her changes in how she responded to people, and she was becoming more deliberate in how she thought about stuff. It wasn't as quick as it was. So I started going to doctor's appointments with her, and her nurse was like, what have you realized? And so I'm telling the nurse, but then her doctor was just like, oh, she's just getting older. And I'm just like, dude, like,
Mm-hmm.
y'all see her every 3 months. You don't see the difference.
Mm-hmm.
And so I eventually changed doctors
Mm-hmm.
because I just felt like here I am advocating for my mother and you're not taking me seriously.
Mm-hmm.
And on one occasion, they had sent mom for like some kind of an X-ray or MRI or something, and one of my friends was the tech,
Ah.
and had gone back with mom. And when she came back and brought mom back, she said, "Hey, you need to have them look at XYZ because she lost her balance
Mm.
while we were just standing there, and you might want to have them look at that." And I
Mm-hmm.
said, "What?"
Uh-huh.
But when I had mentioned that to the doctor, she just kept saying, "Oh, well, she's older. When people get older, things happen and they get slower." And I'm like, "Ma'am, you've been seeing my mom for the last 10 years,
Mm-hmm.
10 or 15 years, and you're not seeing the difference
Mm-hmm.
in how she's talking to you, how she's
Mm-hmm.
interacting with you, how she's." And so it really kind of ticked me off.
Mm-hmm.
So, what I'm going to tell our Convo family is all of these tips that Miss Donnie gave us, pay attention, because it's the difference between you really being able to advocate when something is really going on and you not knowing what is going on. And I'm glad that I took a firm stance, changed her doctor, and
Mm-hmm.
now we're getting better care, even though she doesn't like it. um, but sometimes you just have to make some changes so they can get the best care. And to me, that's part of caring for them during this process. And no, she doesn't like the changes. But sometimes I have to put on the parent hat and be like, well, you going to do it because I told you so, and we got to get you taken care of. The other question that came to mind is when we're sitting here and we're taking note of things, what are some things, because again, there's different normals for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what do you recommend if you are taking care of your parent from afar? Because I know it's quite different than being there all the time. What are some other checklists that you can have in place to make sure that even though you're far away, what like you have partnered with the right people or you are doing the right things? Do you recommend like maybe different conversations, like a monthly check-in with doctors or things like of that nature, since you're not physically there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, and I think that's great if if our family will give the doctors permission to talk with us.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, there are a lot of protections
Yep.
for protected health information, and
Mm-hmm.
so in most cases, the doctors, the nurses will not share information
If you don't
unless
fill out that
yes,
information.
unless mom or dad signs the form giving them permission. And I think that's a great place to start because I think that, you know, doctors, even those who are really good at assessing, they've got 15 minutes maximum.
Right.
And they don't know our family members as well as we do. And a lot of times, people who are struggling, they'll get in the doctor's office. How are you doing, Miss Jones? Oh,
Oh,
I'm
good.
fine. And may not be feeling fine. Even if folks are struggling with memory issues, they typically, wax and wane. They're good days,
And they're bad days.
some people can present really well in the
Yes.
doctor's office and
Yes.
not do so well at home.
Yes.
So I think that's a really good place to start,
Okay.
so that if we do have information, we can share it with the team so that the doctor knows what to look for, and also so that we're more informed of what's going on. I think it's great that your mom allowed you to accompany her to the doctor, and I think that's a great idea. Again, if our parents will give us permission to do that.
Yeah, before I got the permission, I would just call the doctor and say, "Hey, I just need you guys to put this in her file. You don't have to give me any information, but I need the doctor to know this is what happened on XYZ day." Well, ma'am, and I said, "I'm not asking you for her information.
Don't
I
release
am-
any information, just
Correct.
be aware.
I'm just telling you this is what happened because I want the doctor to be aware that we had this episode, and this episode. So when we do come, the doctor can say, oh, I understand that this happened. How did this make you feel? What happened leading up to that?" Because I felt like if I didn't do that, then, like you said, we would get to the doctor and they can't really assess her properly because they don't know that she had an episode.
Especially if she's not complaining of anything.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. So just know, have your parent or loved one sign the HIPAA form.
Release of information.
Release of information so you can have those open conversations. If they decide not to, just still advocate by providing information to the doctor without them releasing information. The main thing here is I want you guys to understand that you have to become an advocate for your loved one in any way that you possibly can. So how do we assess the needs for our loved ones?
Yeah. And sometimes we need some help in doing that, particularly if we're not there. But again, I think it starts with just, taking note of any changes, relying on others to kind of be your eyes and ears when you can't be there. There are a lot of programs that can provide some, some support, some sense of community that can be really helpful if our parents will agree to those. A couple of the programs that my agency administers are the home delivered meal program. And that's a great program just to make sure that people receive a nutritious meal. But, just as important as the meal is that volunteer, that staff person, just checking in and, being able to see the condition of the home, see, how our family members are doing. Is there a stack of bills? Is there clutter? And that's information that they can share in most cases. So sometimes it's helpful to kind of provide some supports in order to just make sure that our family members are not alone and that somebody is laying eyes on them on a regular basis.
Okay, so we're going to take a quick break, and then when we come back, we're going to take questions and comments from the fam, and then we're also going to talk a little bit about how do we start the conversation.
The conversation. Oh, boy.
So to call in, family, the number is 214-556-6239. Again, 214-556-6239. And then you can also hit us in the comments on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. We'll be back.
Love and happiness, yeah, something that can make you do wrong, make you do right, yeah. Love. Love and happiness. But wait a minute, something's going wrong. Someone's on the phone. 3 o'clock in the morning, yeah, talking about how she can make it right, yeah. Yeah. Happiness is when you really feel good about somebody. There's nothing wrong being in love with someone, yeah. Oh, baby, love and happiness. Love and happiness. Oh. I'll be good to you. We'll be together. Yeah. See each other. Walk away with victory. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, baby. Love and happiness. Oh, yeah. Love and happiness. Oh. Make you do right, and love will make you do wrong, and make you come home early, make you stay out all night long. Oh, love. Wait a minute. Let me tell you. Power, love. Hey, hey, hey. Power. Make you do right. Hey, love will make you do wrong. See, love. Make you wanna dance. Love and happiness. Love is. Wait a minute. Love is. Walking together. Talking together. Saying together. Being together. Yeah. Saying what I'm on. I'm on for love. I'm on for love. I'm on for love.
What's up? What's up? What's up, my peeps? What's happening? So we're back. So give us a call at 214 556 6239. So, Miss Doni, how do we start those wonderful conversations with our loved ones?
Yeah, and I think it's, it's different depending on the type of relationship we have with our parents and how comfortable they are sharing information that may be very sensitive. There are not too many of us who, love talking with others about disability and finances and end of life care. I think general advice would be to set the stage, to ask if you can schedule some time to kind of talk through their wishes. And for a lot of us, we don't think about having the talk until something really bad happens. And that's
true.
absolutely the worst time to try to come up with a plan. So if you're not dealing with a crisis, one way to approach it might be that, just telling your parents, I love you. I want to make sure that, you're going to be okay no matter what happens. I want to make sure that, that your wishes are honored. And, can we take some time and just kind of talk through some issues regarding, health and care and finances. And, I think it's important to just understand that they are hard topics, and if you haven't had that kind of relationship where you share everything, that you may need to do it very gradually and in stages. But it's so important just to approach it with respect and just communicate that you're not trying to get assurances that, you get all the stuff in the will. You don't have any ulterior motives. You just want to, you want your parents to remain in control. And the best way to do that is to have a plan in place. And, if your parents don't have a plan in place, just let them know that you want to support them in coming up with a plan, so that they don't have to worry if there's an unexpected health condition, or if there's an unexpected expense. And, certainly if you may ever be in a position of making decisions for your parents, you want to understand what their wishes are.
Like, one of the biggest things for me was, and it was so funny when we had this conversation. I told you 2019, the world just changed. When I started having the conversations, I had one parent who was, Dad, oh no, cremate me, everything's fine, don't keep me on no life support, I'm good. Like, we have lived a long life and I love you, but let me go. And then my bonus dad was more of, well, whatever your mom wants, I'm gonna honor her wishes. And I said, but this is not about her,
Right.
it's about you. And so he just kept saying, well, sugar, whatever your mom wants, because I'm gonna be gone.
Okay.
And I was like, but if we have to put you on life support, what does that look like? Like, did you have these conversations with Uncle? Did you have these conversations with your nieces? Like, I don't want to be behind the 8 ball and I'm trying to do what Mom wants, but you've already had these, plans with your other family, with your family. And so he was like, well, your mom not gonna pull me off, so I guess we better keep me on life support until I can't be on life support no more. And I said, okay.
Yep.
So then I get to Mom, and she was very emphatic. You will not let me go. You will keep me on life support. And I said, okay. And in my mind, I was like, did she really just tell me I'm gonna keep her on life support? And so I promised that I would keep her on life support. So then she turned it around on me, and I said, well, I'm not going to let you make that decision for me, because you're not going to honor my wishes, because I don't want to be kept on life support. And she got so upset that I said that I would not let her make that decision for me. But I was like, remember, it's about me, not you.
Yes.
And I'm telling you, no life support. Because if I cannot function, if I cannot be me, Let
Yeah.
me go.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she was like, I just cannot believe that you said that. And I said, but I'm honoring your wishes because you want to be kept on life support.
Yeah, yeah. But I think that's a great place to start. And, you know, the conversation really goes beyond those basic legal documents, but
It
those are
does.
so important. And if they're not in place, that's probably first priority.
Yep.
You know, if somebody doesn't have a will, it's just inviting chaos.
It does
In Texas,
invite
it's a little
chaos.
easier than some states, but you know, and for people who can't afford to see an attorney to drop a will, in some cases we have funding that we can help with that.
Okay.
Also, those advance directives are so important. Again, just to make sure that everybody, the healthcare providers, the family, really understand what that person's wishes are.
So, what is the difference between the advance directive and the living will? Or is it the same?
So the terms are used pretty interchangeably. The living will is pretty narrow, so that allows you to let your doctor know in the event of a terminal, incurable condition where it's clear that, you know, I'm not going to get better. I do or do not want a feeding tube or a ventilator. But again, it's really specific to end of life care. That's really important. But there's another document, the power of attorney for healthcare decisions.
Okay.
And that's a much broader document that doesn't necessarily give your doctor specific instructions, but it allows you to appoint someone you trust to make decisions on your behalf if you're not able to make decisions. So,
Okay.
you know, if I'm in the middle of surgery and the doctors discover something that they didn't expect,
Okay.
my agent could kind of guide the doctors about the kind of care that I do or do not want. So it's really a good idea to have both.
Have both.
But again, the power of attorney for healthcare decisions is a little broader. And there are other documents that some people want to have in place. There's a document called an out of hospital do not resuscitate. I've had that since I was 25. And my doctor
didn't
said,
even know that
"Honey, do you
existed."
know what that is?" But I'm kind of like you. When God is ready to call me home, I'm going. Regardless of where I am. And it's interesting that your mom is kind of flip-flopped. What a lot of people do is when they're younger, they say, "No, I don't want all of that aggressive care." And as they start to need care and start to run into decisions, it's like, I'm not so sure I'm ready. Can we revisit this? And yes, you can always revisit it. But again, it's just really important that the family and especially those who potentially would be decision makers really understand. We met with my mom's attorney recently. My sister had been the caregiver and she passed away very suddenly. So we had to get all new documents in place. And I said, "Now, Mom, what do you want?" She said, "You decide." And I said, "That's not fair.
I don't want to decide. I want you to take
You're
the
a retired
wheel.
nurse. You know the kinds of things the hospital can do and not
Exactly.
do. Please let me know what you want."
Okay, have you heard Patrick said a transfer of death deed?
Yeah.
What is that?
It's a pretty cool document. It's Texas has only had it for, I don't know, maybe 5 years or so. That can be really helpful when our parents may need to apply for Medicaid benefits.
Okay.
And if somebody applies for Medicaid, they're allowed to have a home while they're living.
Okay.
After they die, in some cases, the Medicaid program has the right to recover funds that it's paid. And so the transfer on death deed is a pretty inexpensive way of making sure that the state cannot come after the homestead after a person with Medicaid passes away.
Okay.
So it kind of exempts the household from that Medicaid estate recovery process.
Wow. See, Patrick, you guys have taught me something else new. I had never heard of that. Wow. 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 And he just said thank you because he needed that clarity.
Yeah, and in Texas, Texas Legal Services can provide free information on the transfer on death deed. Um, and there are a lot of elder care attorneys who can do that, some for, as inexpensively, and I guess I should put air quotes, $500. Some certainly would charge more. But for people who, want to make sure that that home remains in the family, it's a good investment.
Oh, wow. Okay, see, guys, we teach you a lot of stuff here. And we are not attorneys.
No.
We are just providing information so you can have the info that you need to get things done. I'm gonna do that because I don't want them taking my mama's house after we done paid for it.
Yes.
Let me see if we have any more questions. Hello, Nicole. Hello, Patrick. Because I really didn't say hello to y'all. I just started talking. You guys are live in chat tonight. Nicole said thank you for explaining the living will. She wanted to know the differences as well, girl, because I don't ever remember the differences. Hold on, do I see any more questions? Okay, if you guys want to call 214-556-6239 or just keep hitting us in the chat. Okay, so can you provide us some more resources? So you said text. What I already typed it in. Texas Legal Services. And who else?
Yeah, so my day job is resources. So I've got to get a plug in for the Area Agencies on Aging. That's the major program that I administer. But for those of you who are not familiar, we're part of a nationwide network that was created by federal legislation back in the 60s, and we cover the entire country. And we provide information. So if people are looking for a program or a resource or a ride to the doctor or an aide to come in, or starting to think about home versus an assisted living facility or a nursing facility, we provide objective information. And then we have a lot of services for older adults. I mentioned the Meals on Wheels program. We pay for meals and activities at senior centers. We pay for rides. We have a benefits counseling program that kind of helps people understand Medicare and Medicaid. We do workshops to help people learn to avoid falls, to manage diabetes, chronic pain. We advocate for people in nursing facilities. We have programs that oftentimes can help people build wheelchair ramps and get some help in the home. We have programs that will give caregivers a break. And part of the beauty of our services is that everything we do is provided at no cost to those who qualify, and we're a source of objective information. We're not trying to sell anybody an insurance plan. We're not making money from sending attendants into the home. We're just trying to provide some support to let older adults age with dignity and independence, and provide some support to family caregivers as well. So in the state of Texas, people can call 800-252-9240 and
800
252
252
9240.
9240. And
Enter
that's
their
your
zip
team.
code. Enter their zip code, and they will be routed to the area agency on aging that serves their community. There are 28 area agencies on aging in the state of Texas and more than 600 nationwide.
Oh, wow. Yeah, because when I was looking to partner with someone, I kept getting Dallas. And I was like,
Yep.
this show is not just in Dallas. And so when I found you guys on the internet, I was like, no, we need this agency because we will have listeners all over. And so thank you for just reiterating that to me, because I've been giving people y'all's website too, because I have friends not just in Dallas County and Tarrant County, but between the friends in Dallas and Tarrant County, we have loved ones all over the state of Texas. So I was like, no, we're going to go with this because I need someone who can point us all in the right direction, not just Dallas and Tarrant County.
And we're all a little bit different, but, we have the same mission. Our services are really similar.
Okay, so we're about to wrap up. So any parting thoughts for everybody?
Just that, if you're in a caregiving situation, we understand that it can be stressful at times, and if you are a caregiver or just concerned about an older adult, we encourage you to give us a call, and we will do our best to kind of talk through the issues and identify some resources that can support either your family or yourself or both.
You, yourself, you and your loved ones. All right. Well, Miss Doni, thank you for your time tonight. Miss Taylor, thank you, girl, as always. And guys, we will see you guys same aging time, same aging place, 9 p.m. next Tuesday, and we're going to talk about caregiver resources. And our friends are coming back from the Agency on Aging. So we will see you guys next week. Peace.
Hey, this is Loretta Dennis, host of Glory Rising Radio.